He married me to fulfill a vow, but I was never the bride he loved. The attic dust danced, catching the light. My hand found the preserved lace of a wedding dress. Not mine, truly, it was hers. A familiar ache, 20 years old, surfaced. 20 years since I, Clara Mae Peterson, 24, married Ethan James Hayes, 27. A promise made under a dying man's breath. A promise binding him to me, but not to my heart. It began slowly, a quiet seep into my life. Ethan's father, Mr. Hayes, had been like a second father to me. Now, he was fading. A pillar of our small town, he'd supported my family after my own dad passed. My mother, Susan Peterson, 49, and sister, Lily, 19, owed him much. One hot afternoon, before Mr. Hayes slipped away, Ethan called. His voice, usually steady, was strained. His dad wanted to see me. Alone. My stomach knotted. The Hayes grand house always felt like another world. Mr. Hayes, pale but sharp-eyed, spoke in a whisper. He talked of his legacy, of Ethan, of family. Then, the bombshell, he made Ethan promise to marry me. My breath hitched. Ethan stood stiffly, back to me, shoulders rigid. His silence was deafening. Mr. Hayes, a businessman to the end, believed uniting us would secure their future, merge our families. Our small but valuable land bordered their estate, crucial for a new development. He saw me as reliable. Not like her. I felt a bizarre mix of shock, a fleeting hope, then cold dread. Ethan just nodded, a man condemned. I knew then, he wasn't marrying me for love. I was a pawn in a dying man's final play. Her name was Isabelle Marie Dubois. Hair like moonlight, eyes like summer sky. She was everything I wasn't, graceful, vibrant, effortlessly charming. Ethan had loved her since childhood. Everyone knew. Their love was a local legend. But Isabelle was a free spirit. She'd left town years ago for her art, leaving a hole in Ethan's heart. Now, she was back, just months before Mr. Hayes' illness worsened. Her return was a vibrant, unwelcome splash in my muted world. Ethan changed, a lightness, a suppressed smile. I saw them, a shared laugh, a lingering touch. Innocent, outwardly, but the unspoken truth hung heavy. His love for her had never died. When Mr. Hayes made his decree, Isabelle was the ghost in the room. His vow was a desperate attempt to sever that tie, to force Ethan into a stable marriage. I was the safe choice, the practical one. Isabelle was beautiful chaos. Mr. Hayes, a man of order, couldn't accept it. Ethan never spoke of Isabelle after the vow. He didn't need to. The quiet way he looked at her, his clenched jaw when her name came up, spoke volumes. He was marrying me, but his heart belonged to Isabelle. Always. The wedding was small, somber. More a transaction than a celebration. My mother tried to add warmth. Lily was quiet. She knew, too. At the altar, sun through stained glass, I wore a simple white dress. Ethan, handsome but distant, in a dark suit. The vows blurred. To heaven to hold, until death do us part. Hollow echoes. My voice thin, Ethan's firm, emotionless. The gold band felt like a brand. The reception was subdued. Forced smiles. A relative wished us happiness. I managed a weak smile. Happiness wasn't part of the deal. That night, in the vast bedroom, silence. Thick with unspoken words, Isabelle's ghost, the vow's weight. Ethan was painfully courteous. He helped unfasten my dress, his touch sending shivers, not of desire, but loneliness. He offered water, asked if I needed anything, detached kindness. No warmth, no intimacy. We formed an unspoken agreement, our marriage a facade, a partnership of convenience. We'd present a united front, fulfill expectations, maintain the Hayes legacy. But in private, we'd be separate. I'd have the name, security, respectability. He'd honor his father. Neither of us would have the love we truly desired. Life as Mrs. Hayes was both liberating and confining. Resources I'd never dreamed of, security for my mother and Lily. But a gilded cage. My days were filled, charity events, dinners, managing staff. I learned to smile politely, make small talk, project contentment. Ethan and I presented a composed front, his arm often around my waist, possessive, yet lacking affection. Our public conversations were light. Once doors closed, the pretense dropped. He was never unkind, just absent. Physically present, emotionally miles away. He buried himself in work. At home, he'd retreat to his study. Meals were silent. We slept separately. I knew he was thinking of her. The ache deepened. I sought solace in books, gardening, volunteering at the library. I poured my longing into quiet pursuits, living in the margins of my own life. Arguments were rare. Our understanding was too clear for conflict. What could I say? Why don't you love me? I knew why. Sometimes, though, moments. After a gala, I was in the kitchen. He came in, tired. For a second, his guard dropped. He leaned against the counter, sighed. He looked at me. Quite the evening, he said, softer. It was. He chuckled, a low sound. You handled Mrs. Caldwell perfectly. I smiled. Someone had to. He walked to the back door, letting in cool night air. Sometimes, he said quietly, I wonder what it would be like, to just, not be Mr. Hayes. My heart fluttered. And what would that be like? He looked into the darkness. Simple, I suppose. Just, free. He didn't elaborate. He just stood, then offered a polite good night. The moment passed, a ripple in our calm ocean. But it stayed, a hint of the man beneath the duty. Then, our children. Thomas Hayes, born 3 years in. Boisterous, with Ethan's eyes. Emily Hayes 2 years later. Sweet, curious, with a mischievous glint. They were our blessings. Ethan was a good father, attentive, patient, loving. Reading stories, teaching baseball, explaining things. Watching him with them, a fierce protectiveness swelled in me. He showed them a warmth he rarely extended to me. Bittersweet. He was a doting father, a responsible husband, but never my lover, my confidant. Isabelle never truly left. A shimmering presence. She'd return for gallery openings, family events. The town gossiped. I'd see her, at the store, a festival. Still beautiful, vibrant, charming. We'd nod, awkward conversations. She was kind, her eyes holding something I couldn't grasp, pity. Regret. I never knew. Ethan's reaction to her presence was subtle but clear, a tightened jaw, a distant air. He worked longer hours, avoiding home. I understood. Her memory was a wound, his lost dream. Years into our marriage, in the attic, I found it. A carved wooden box. Inside, a dried rose, letters tied with a faded ribbon. Letters from Isabelle. To Ethan. Love letters, passionate declarations, dreams of a shared future. I read them all. My heart ached. They painted a love so profound it made my own existence feel like a pale imitation. I saw the depth of his loss, the true weight of his sacrifice. I understood then, I could never be the bride he loved. I was the living embodiment of his lost dream. I put the letters back. It wasn't my place to disturb his private grief. Decades passed. Thomas and Emily grew, built their own lives. We were good parents. Ethan and I aged. The sharp edges of our agreement softened. A quiet understanding grew, born of shared history, respect, and our children. We were partners. He relied on my presence, my managing the home, my quiet support. I relied on his stability, his protectiveness. Sometimes, he'd look out the window, a faraway look, and I knew where his thoughts were. But the pain had dulled, replaced by a melancholic acceptance. We'd played our hand. One evening, after the children had moved out, Ethan sat opposite me in the living room. The fire crackled. Clara, he said, hesitant. Thank you. For what, Ethan? He looked at his clasped hands. For everything. For being here. For the children. For understanding. My heart fluttered. Not love, not the dreamed of love, but a profound acknowledgement, a validation of our journey. I closed my book. You're welcome, Ethan. And thank you, too. For being a good father. For being, you. He looked up, and for the first time in a long time, I saw peace in his eyes. I still visit the attic. The wedding dress hangs there, a silent sentinel. It reminds me of the vow, the woman he loved, the one he married. The sharp sting is gone, replaced by a quiet completeness. My life wasn't a fairy tale, but it was real. Filled with adored children, a quiet strength, and a unique bond with a man who, though he never loved me as a bride, became, in his own way, a part of my soul. We built a life, brick by quiet brick, on the foundation of that vow. And sometimes, that was enough.